Hi, I'm Dan. Today we're going to take a look at a website menu and how it functions and looks on a mobile browser and as well as the desktop browser. So let's compare the two right now. On the left we have a desktop browser, on the right we have our mobile browser version, okay? So the mobile browser version is stacked and the desktop version is spread really far wide. And then the nested submenus get exposed with a click on mobile and with a hover on desktop. And I'm using display flex to make the desktop menu really wide and even space. Okay. We're going to use flex grow on the LI and display flex on the UL. Now let's take a look at the mobile version. I'm going to get my screen narrow here and we're going to see what the code looks like for this mobile version. I'm going to use some JavaScript and we're going to be able to add some classes and remove the classes by using the toggle class. And we're going to control the CSS that way. Okay, so we have a menu button, and when we click that mobile menu button, we're going to toggle the menu class. And the CSS shows and hides it using display block and display none. That'll make the mobile menu open and close. We also have some submenus in there that those will open and close vertically as well. Now you can see I have a second menu button too. When you click that button, we're going to control not only the menu height and visibility, but we're also going to control the little arrow. That's actually just one image. We're just controlling a sprite where we're controlling the position of that graphic. The up arrow and the side arrow are actually in the same image. That's why it's called a sprite. Okay, now let's take a look at this other function I've built in on both desktop and mobile. And I'll show you on desktop here first. And sometimes in the web world, we refer to this as a sticky menu. Basically, we have a bit of JavaScript that's sensing where the scroll bar is. And when the scroll bar is at the top, we're going to see a normal menu. Then when we start scrolling down, we're going to add a class to certain elements, certain div containers, and that's going to change their CSS. That's going to change the way they look. And as you can tell, as I'm scrolling down, we're adding the sticky class, and we're making that top menu actually stuck to the top of the page, so it's always there when you're scrolling. We're going to get rid of some of the height of that header. We're going to hide the logo. We're going to hide the logos. We're going to hide those social media icons. And we're going to keep that menu functionality, but we're going to pin it to the top of the browser window, right? And it's no matter how far you scroll down on the page, it's always there. We're hiding some of those containers based on CSS. So if they're inside of a class that's called sticky, that's been added with the JavaScript, we're going to simply display none or hide those. Now it's important to note that there's some padding on the top of the larger container, and that has to match the height of the header, has to match the height of the header and the menu. That way it doesn't jump. If you've ever built a sticky or a fixed menu on a browser, on a website, it's sometimes you get this jumping effect if things aren't aligned properly. So you have to increase the top padding of the larger container based on the height of the header in its tallest form plus the menu, so that when you scroll back to the top, everything is lined up perfectly. And we have an if statement and then an else statement, and that's going to add and remove those classes. Now that sticky menu or that fixed menu is also functioning on the mobile version as well. Now this is one menu, so it's going to be very responsive and flexible, and I've retained the sticky functionality on mobile as well. That's also very important. As the site is responsive, it gets a lot taller when you're looking at it on a mobile phone. So you want to make sure that that menu is always pinned to the top. The same functionality goes for the mobile menu when it's at the top of the page or when you're scrolling down. Now, same concept as desktop. We're going to hide the other parts of the header, the logo. We're going to make a very small, unobstructive menu that's pinned to the top of the mobile browser. All with some JavaScript or some jQuery controlling the CSS classes, and that's going to control the HTML and the way that menu actually functions. So now I've showed you a website menu that's truly responsive, very flexible, and that's sticky, that pins to the top of the browser in desktop or mobile views. Thanks.